World War II, when we think about it, images of Sherman, tanks, bombers, and the Holocaust leap to mind. But what about the stories within the larger story, the ones often relegated to footnotes? It's in these forgotten corners that we find things just as incredible, just as important. These are the untold stories of World War II, brought to you by Curious Chronicles by Prabhu. Imagine the European theatre of operations, 1944. The world is engulfed in the flames of World War II, and Europe is the epicenter of this colossal conflict. The landscape is scarred by years of relentless fighting, and the air is thick with tension and anticipation. The Germans, masters of mechanized warfare, are dug in across France, waiting for the inevitable Allied invasion. Their defenses are formidable, with heavily fortified positions and mechanized units ready to repel any assault. They are confident in their strength and their ability to hold the line. As they wait, they receive reports of American and British units massing in unexpected places, of tank columns appearing where none should be, and of radio chatter that suggests large-scale troop movements. The Germans are puzzled and increasingly anxious, but what they're seeing isn't real. These reports are part of an elaborate deception, a mirage designed to mislead and confuse. The Germans are being drawn into a web of illusions. They're looking at a mirage, a carefully constructed lie. Inflatable tanks, fake radio transmissions, and sound effects create the illusion of a massive army where there is none. This is deception on a grand scale. This is the story of the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, better known as the Ghost Army. A unit unlike any other, composed of artists, sound engineers, and radio operators, all handpicked for their unique skills. These weren't typical soldiers, they were artists, sound engineers, radio operators, all handpicked for their ability to create illusions. They were masters of deception, capable of turning the tide of battle with their creativity and ingenuity. They used inflatable tanks, fake radio transmissions, and sound effects to mimic a real army. Their creations were so convincing that even seasoned soldiers were fooled. The Ghost Army's operations were a blend of art and warfare, a testament to human creativity in the face of adversity. They even created fake unit patches and spread rumors in local bars. Their efforts extended beyond the battlefield, infiltrating the social fabric of occupied territories to sow confusion and doubt. And it worked. The Germans were completely taken in by this ruse. Diverted men and resources, giving the Allies a crucial advantage in the invasion of Normandy. This deception was pivotal in ensuring the success of one of the most significant military operations of the war. To fight a war with deception, with trickery, with art itself as a weapon. The Ghost Army's mission was to use their creative talents to save lives and secure victory. Their story is a remarkable chapter in the history of warfare. The Ghost Army played a pivotal role in deceiving one of the most formidable military machines the world had ever seen. Their success was a testament to the power of creativity and innovation in the most dire of circumstances, and they did it with style. The Ghost Army's legacy is one of ingenuity, bravery, and the unyielding belief that art and creativity can change the course of history. The story of the Jewish people during World War II is one of unimaginable suffering. The Holocaust led to the systematic extermination of 6 million Jews. Families were torn apart, communities decimated, and Jewish life in Europe was almost completely destroyed. But within that larger story, there were also stories of resistance. Jews took up arms to fight back, preserving dignity and humanity in the face of overwhelming evil. Jewish resistance took many forms, from clandestine efforts to organized armed groups. One such story is that of the Jewish Brigade, a formation of Jewish volunteers who fought with the British Army. Formed in 1944, the Jewish Brigade was composed of Jews from Palestine, eager to contribute to the Allied war effort. These men had escaped the horrors of the Holocaust and were determined to fight for the liberation of their people. They were not just soldiers, they were survivors, carrying the weight of their lost families and destroyed homes. The Jewish Brigade fought with ferocity and determination. Despite being a small unit, their impact was significant. They engaged in fierce battles, demonstrating exceptional bravery and tactical skill. They saw action in North Africa, Italy, and Western Europe, fighting alongside Allied forces. Their contributions were crucial in several key operations, and their presence was a symbol of hope and resistance. When the war in Europe ended, they were among the first to enter the liberated concentration camps. They provided immediate aid, offering food, medical care, and comfort to those who had endured unimaginable suffering. The Jewish Brigade represents the very best of humanity in the face of the very worst. Their story is one of courage, resilience, and unwavering determination. Their legacy continues to inspire, reminding us of the power of resistance and the importance of never forgetting. Exercise Tiger, the disaster that almost sank D-Day. The story of D-Day is one of the most well-known stories of World War II. The bravery, the strategy, and the sheer scale of the operation have been etched into the annals of history. But what many don't know is that this pivotal operation was almost derailed before it began. A lesser-known event, shrouded in secrecy for many years, nearly changed the course of history. In the spring of 1944, the Allies staged a massive exercise off the coast of England. This was no ordinary drill, it was a full-scale rehearsal for the impending invasion of Normandy. Codenamed Exercise Tiger, it was intended to be a dress rehearsal for the real thing. The goal was to iron out any kinks and ensure that every soldier knew their role. But what began as a routine exercise quickly descended into chaos. The fog of war, even in a practice scenario, can lead to unforeseen complications. Due to communication errors and navigational mistakes, the exercise turned into a disaster. Ships ended up in the wrong positions, and confusion reigned supreme. German E-boats, always on the lookout for Allied activity, seized the opportunity. They attacked with ferocity, resulting in a bloodbath that no one had anticipated. Hundreds of American soldiers and sailors were killed. The waters off the coast of England turned red with the blood of those who had been preparing to liberate Europe. The attack threw the entire exercise into disarray, and for a time it seemed as if the real D-Day landings might have to be postponed. The stakes were incredibly high, and the loss was devastating. Bodies washed ashore for days afterward, and the full extent of the losses was kept secret. The Allies couldn't afford to let the enemy know about this setback. But even in the midst of such loss, there were stories of incredible heroism. Medics worked tirelessly to save the wounded, often under fire themselves. Chaplains comforted the dying, offering solace in their final moments. Ordinary soldiers, faced with extraordinary circumstances, performed acts of bravery that would go unrecognized for years. Exercise Tiger is a reminder that even the best-laid plans can go awry. It underscores the unpredictability of war and the resilience required to overcome such challenges. It's a story of tragedy, but also of courage and resilience. The lessons learned from Exercise Tiger were invaluable, ultimately contributing to the success of D-Day and the eventual Allied victory in Europe. The Second World War was a maelstrom, a vortex of destruction that consumed the lives of tens of millions. The stories we've explored today, the Ghost Army, the Jewish Brigade, Exercise Tiger, are just a few examples of the many untold stories of World War II. They remind us that history is a tapestry woven from the lives of real people who lived, loved, fought, and died. So the next time you think about World War II, think about the human beings behind those machines who showed incredible courage and resilience in the face of unimaginable adversity.